Every time our country stands in the path of danger, an instinct seems to summon her finest first, those who truly understand her. When freedom shivers in the cold shadow of true peril, it's always the patriots who first hear the call. When loss of liberty is looming, as it is now, the siren sounds first in the hearts of freedom's vanguard. The smoke in the air of our Concord bridges and Pearl Harbors is always smelled first by the farmers who come from their simple homes to find the fire and fight, because they know that sacred stuff resides in that wooden stock and blued steel, something that gives the most common man the most uncommon of freedoms. When ordinary hands can possess such an extraordinary instrument, that symbolizes the full measure of human dignity and liberty. That's why those 5 words issue an irresistible call to us all, and we muster. So, as we set out this year to defeat the divisive that would take freedom away, I want to say those fighting words for everyone within the sound of my voice, and to heed, and especially Mr. Gore. From my cold, dead hands.
Judges have given themselves immunity. Are you aware of that?
I read that about...
Absolute immunity.
Yeah.
They've given lawyers qualified immunity. And in my case, Margaret Marshall used my case to rewrite the anti-SLAPP law to give social workers who commit perjury in court immunity. And the immunity, which are totally un-American, we're all supposed to be equal before the law, but they've made themselves into an aristocracy that operates above the law.
The judges had created immunity. They had created such a thing called sovereign immunity, and I'd look at the Constitution and I'd say, how can you come up with this thing called sovereign immunity where the government is not accountable to the people? How can that happen? There's not a word of it in the Constitution. In fact, the whole idea of the Constitution is the government should be accountable.
Now in this country is a situation where the judiciary and the bar are working together to run a criminal racketeering enterprise that is extorting money from people under color of office.
The courts are a criminal enterprise to get money, federal dollars, from the federal government.
The entire justice system has basically collapsed.
All of these judges are tainted. These are people that are supposed to uphold the law.
You know, in our country we have a problem with judges who commit the unauthorized practice of God. But in Grays Harbor County, Washington, it's the only case where we've actually had a God admit it. A judge named Godfrey claims he's God. Now, I've talked to dozens of people here in the area, and I'm convinced that the report's incorrect. We don't need people from all over the world to flock to Grays Harbor County, Washington, in search of God, because he's not here. There's a judge in here named Judge Gordon Godfrey who thinks he's God.
And he is now admitted to accepting millions of dollars in kickbacks in exchange for sending kids to private detention centers. The court says that none of these young offenders basically got a fair hearing. Some of them weren't even allowed to have lawyers during their...
Whatever he can. You know what I think of Mr. Parker right now, and I don't, you're not even going to like this. He's just an arrogant nigger. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's the way I see
what charges should be given, but I am the person who will instruct the jury as to the law. It is not appropriate for you to read cases to the jury, and I will not permit you to do so.
I object. You are not a judge. You are an executive administrator.
Okay.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled there are no judicial courts in America. There have not been since 1789. Judges do not enforce statutes and codes. Executive administrators enforce statutes and codes.
All right, we're done. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9:30.
One of a president's most important appointments is chairman of the Federal Reserve. The Fed is the symbol of the integrity of our financial system, and the decisions of the Fed affects the lives and livelihoods of all Americans.
This is an experiment. We've never done this before. We've never been here before. The Federal Reserve is really operating by the seat of their pants.
You have what degree of confidence in your ability to control this?
100%.
Get 3 coffins ready.
Huh?
Adios, amigo. Listen, stranger. Didn't you get the idea? We don't like to see bad boys like you in town. Go get your mule. You let him get away.
Yeah, see, that's what I want to talk to you about. Feeling real bad.
Huh?
My mule? You see, he got all riled up when you men fired those shots at his feet.
Hey, you making some kind of joke?
No. See, I understand you men were just playing around. But the mule, he just doesn't get it. Of course, if you were to all apologize... I don't think it's nice you laughing. See, my mule don't like people laughing. It's the crazy idea you're laughing at him. Now, if you apologize like I know you're going to, I might convince him that you really didn't mean it.
I saw the whole thing. You killed all 4. You'll pay all right. You'll be strung up.
Who are you?
Don't fire a shot. I'm John Baxter, sheriff.
Yeah, well, if you're the sheriff, you better get these men underground. My mistake. 4 coffins.